Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LO3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful land of enchantment. And today's date is Saturday, April 4th, 2020. So I'll do another one today. And mainly I'm going to be talking about a few things. You know, just the beauty and the dark side, principles and all that. And this one here is going to be a couple of these links will be from the Mind Unleashed, which I do subscribe to them. So each of you folks should check it out. They're really cool. And I know some people say, oh, they're media biased, but they put a lot of merit behind this. So, without further ado, we're going to hear about what they have to say about the coronavirus. How deadly it is. So the coronavirus can be deadly. So that will be the name of the title. And the article here says, "This is what the coronavirus does to your body that makes it so deadly." Out of fairness. And it says here from the conversation, COVID-19 is called by a coronavirus called SARS-CoV-2. Coronaviruses belong to a group of viruses that affect animals from peacocks to whales. They're named for bulb-tipped spikes which project from the virus's surface and give the appearance of a corona surrounding it, like a crown. Coronavirus infections usually plays out one of two ways. As an infection in the lungs that includes some cases of what people will call the common cold, or as an infection in the gut that causes diarrhea. COVID-19 starts out in the lungs like the common cold coronaviruses, but then causes havoc with the immune system that can lead to long-term lung damage or death. SARS-CoV-2 is genetically similar, very similar to other human respiratory coronaviruses, including SARS-CoV and MERS-CoV. However, the subtle genetic differences translate to significant differences in how readily a coronavirus infects people and how it makes them sick. SARS-CoV-2 has all the same genetic equipment as the original SARS-CoV, which caused a global outbreak in 2003, but with around 6,000 mutations sprinkled around in the usual places where coronaviruses change. Thick whole milk versus skim milk. Compare with other coronaviruses like MERS-CoV, which emerged in the Middle East in 2012. The new virus has customized versions of the same general equipment for invading cells and copying itself. However, SARS-CoV-2 has a totally different set of genes called accessories, which gives this new virus a little advantage in specific situations. For example, MERS has a particular protein that shuts down a cell's ability to sound the alarm about a viral intruder. SARS-CoV-2 has an unrelated gene with an as yet unknown function in that position in its genome. Thick cow milk versus almond milk. How the virus infects. Every coronavirus infection starts with the virus particle, a spherical shell that protects a single long string of genetic material and inserts into a human cell. The genetic material instructs the cell to make around 30 different parts of the virus, allowing the virus to reproduce. The cell that SARS-CoV-2 prefers to infect have a protein called ACE2 on the outside that is important for regulating blood pressure. The infection begins with the long spike protein that protrude from the virus particles, latch onto the cell's ACE2 protein. From that point, the spike transforms, unfolding and refolding itself, using coiled spring-like parts that start out buried at the core of the spike. The reconfigured spike hooks into the cell and crashes the virus particle and cell together. This forms a channel where the string of viral genetic material can snake its way into unsuspecting cell. An illustration of the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein shown from the side left, which is you can see it from here. You can look at it. When I will post this on my page as well. I'm pretty good about that. And it's like here an illustration of the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein shown from the side left and top. The protein latches onto human lung cells, 5H2R Wikimedia. Okay, that's according to that. So to see if SARS-CoV-2 spreads from person to person by close contact. The Sinchonian Church outbreak in South Korea in February provides a good demonstration of how quickly SARS-CoV-2 spreads. It seems one or two people with the virus sat face to face, very close to unaffected people, for several minutes at a time in a crowded room. Within 2 weeks, several thousand people in the country were infected, and more than half of the infections at that point were attributable to the church. This is why you can find the reason why, like a lot of the states wanted to they didn't want to have any church gatherings due to this. In the United States, due to this, what happened over in South Korea. That makes some sense. The outbreak got to a fast start because public health authorities were unaware of the potential outbreak and were testing widely at the stage. Since then, authorities have worked hard and the number of new cases in South Korea has been falling steadily. So they made it happen. Boom. How the virus makes people sick. SARS-CoV-2 grows in type 2 lung cells, which secrete a soap-like substance that helps air slip into the deep into the lungs and cells lining the throat. As a SARS, most of the damage in COVID-19, the illness caused by the new coronavirus, is caused by the immune system carrying out a scorched earth defense to stop the virus from spreading. Millions of cells in the immune system invade the infected lung tissue and cause massive amounts of damage in the process of cleaning out the virus and any infected cells. Each COVID-19 lesion ranges from the size of the grape to the size of a grapefruit. The challenge for healthcare workers treating patients is to support the body and keep the blood oxygenated while the lungs is repairing itself. SARS-CoV-2 has a sliding scale of severity. Patients under the age of 10 seems to clear the virus easily. Both people under 40 seems to bounce back quickly, but older people suffer from increasingly severe COVID-19. The H2 protein that SARS-CoV-2 uses, a door to enter cells, is also important to regulating blood pressure, and this does not do its job when the virus gets there first. This one reason COVID-19 is more severe in people with high blood pressure. Alright, so like I said, folks, always stay focused on your health. Be very vigilant. SARS-CoV-2 is more severe than seasonal influenza, in part because in many more ways it stops cells from calling out to the immune system for help. For example, one way that cells try to respond to infection is by making interferon, the alarm signaling protein. SARS-CoV-2 blocks by this combination of camouflage spinning off protein makers from the cell that serve as distress beacons and finally shredding any antiviral instructions that the cell makes before they can use. As a result, COVID-19 can fester for a month, causing a little damage each day, while most people get over a case of the flu in less than a week. At present, transmission rate of SARS-CoV-2 is a little higher than that of the pandemic in 2009 H1N1 influenza virus, but SARS-CoV-2 is at least 10 times as deadly. From the data that is available now, COVID-19 seems like a severe acute respiratory syndrome. SARS, though, is likely than SARS to be severe. What is it known? There are still many mysteries about the virus and coronaviruses in general. The nuisance of how they cause disease, the way they interact proteins inside the cell, the structure of the proteins that form new viruses, and how some of the basic virus copying machinery works. Another unknown is how COVID-19 will respond to changes in the seasons. The flu tends to cold weather. The flu tends to follow cold weather, but both in the northern and southern hemispheres. Some other human coronaviruses spread at the low level year-round, but seem to peak in the spring. But nobody really knows for sure why these viruses vary with the seasons. What is amazing so far in this outbreak is all the good science that has come out so quickly. The research community learned about the structures of the virus spike protein and the ACE2 protein, with part of the spike protein attached just a little over a month after the genetic sequence became available. I spent my first 20 or so years working on coronaviruses without the benefit of either. This bodes well for better understanding, preventing, and treating COVID-19. Interesting there. Wow. So, something I learned as well. And I can thank Benjamin Newman for that report. Professional of biology at Texas A&M University at Texarkana. So it's right on the state line, Texarkana area, right near Arkansas. Yeah, I've been in that town. Pretty interesting. But however, yeah, so something I learned here as well. Hopefully folks could know what I mean when they say about coronavirus. It's like spikes, like a crown. And it illustrates it too in these notes. So yeah, so this is why, with the churches, like they sort of like have a lot of big gatherings because of what happened in South Korea, and as it makes some sense. But it's always been a voluntary aspect, with all due respect. So yeah, so that's why you always gotta So there's some merit behind those CDC guidelines, and like I said, I call them guidelines, not commandments. But the bottom line is, folks, always strengthen your immune system. And that's one of the areas I always recommend. This is very interesting. And because another thing, too, I have a friend of mine. My mom's a friend was a nurse. And talking about this one Chinese scientist opened up this one person's body. And the lungs were all filled with fluid, like he drowned his own fluid. And I remember having those one gentleman from Death Angel, the drummer for Death Angel. I don't have his name out of my head, unfortunately. But they said they took a lot of, it looks like 5 pounds of beer coming out of his lungs. They like really cleaned that out. So it's mainly drowning your own fluids. That's what it does. That's how you damage the lungs. And you dry them by your own fluids. And it's very scary stuff. So hopefully that's why, like I tell people this. I always tell people this. Yes, I believe COVID-19 exists. I'm not gonna disagree. But sometimes you got folks out there trying to exploit it for their own benefits. They got a lot of folks with tyrannical attributes. But I just want to learn about this in a more scientific perspective. So, hey, always stick to your health, my friends. Stay vigilant. Get superfoods in your body. And try to clean out all that toxicity out of your system the best you can. And share this with others. That is essential. Okay, it's interesting during that time with the whole COVID-19 scam or scare, pandemic, scamdemic, whatever you want to call it. 2 million guns sold during March as sales skyrocketed to the second highest level ever. And it came out the 3rd. And it says here by John Vibes, the pandemic is leading people to buy way more guns, as some fear there'll soon be civil unrest. According to a new report from the New York Times, Americans bought nearly 2 million guns last month as the country slowly went to lockdown. This was the second highest sales numbers ever seen in the U.S. for firearms, supposedly only by January after U.S. President Barack Obama's re-election, which was also when Sandy Hook shooting occurred. While more guns were sold in January 2013, the numbers were actually extremely close, with roughly 2 million guns sold during each time period. The data used in the report from the Times was based on number of background checks reported by the FBI, so it's likely that the actual numbers are even higher because background checks are not required in every state. The FBI has been tracking monthly gun sales in the U.S. since 1998. Timothy Linton, a law professor at Georgia State University, believes that people are prepared for civil unrest, which has reportedly already begun in places like Italy. It says here, people are nervous that there are certain amount of civil disorder that might come if huge numbers of people are sick and huge numbers of the institution are not operating normally. They may have an anxiety about protecting themselves, and the organs of state are starting to erode, Linton told the Times. This week, U.S. President Trump included gun stores, shooting ranges, firearms, and ammunition manufacturers in a list of essential businesses that can remain open during the lockdown. According to Politico, the move came in response to backlash from firearm owners and activists after gun shops around the country began to receive shutdown orders from state governments, which they're pretty damn stupid, I would say, those state governments. Gun rights organizations have argued that people need to have access to firearms now more than ever, with a looming threat of civil unrest on the horizon and thousands of police officers across the country out of work due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, remember, even the people who got purchased firearms and ammunition are police officers, correctional officers. Okay, so just to let you know, you cannot shut them down, folks. And in good faith, the police aren't obligated to protect you as an individual. And I know I said this multiple times. If you repeat it, my listeners that follow me for a long time. So one of those areas you got to look at is people are preparing, and I can't blame them. Happened as one incident in Virginia, and it was a smoke shop, and the owner told the employee, "Get a gun. I'm buying the gun because what's happening, these shutdowns can lead to civil unrest." So an incident happened. The clerk is accused of something because there was a claim that they're running out of the store, so you can't really shoot them in the back. That's based on the report. However, it could be a lot worse. So this is why, just gotta be, just be ready when it's necessary. So I always have those views. It's not being macho, live in fear, but vigilance. So I just do this other episode later on, maybe tomorrow, but I'm gonna do this one here, which is good, cool news here from John Vibes again, from the mindunleashed.com. Brooklyn landlord cancels rent for hundreds of tenants so they can buy food instead. The world needs more people like this. Anybody has to say. A record 6.6 million Americans filed for unemployment last week, which is double the record-breaking number seen the week before. While some steps have been taken to help mitigate the economic hardship related to the pandemic, such as the recent stimulus package that was passed by the U.S. government, many critics feel that the bill is insufficient for low-wage workers. The unprecedented shutdown of the economy has deepened the poverty crisis in the country, and local food banks have seen an overwhelming increase in demand as people begin to worry about where their next meals are going to come from. Mortgage forgiveness in common in many areas across the country, but rent forgiveness remains controversial. However, some generous landlords have taken it upon themselves to offer during this difficult times. Mario Solano of Brooklyn, New York, owns 18 apartment buildings and told his renters not to worry about paying rent during the shutdown and spend their money on groceries instead. Solano told the New York Times that he puts the signs up telling his tenants to wash their hands and help their neighbors. The Brooklyn landlord said that he has about 200, 300 tenants in total, and estimate that he will lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in income during the month of April. And in Los Angeles, California, a group of homeless mothers calling themselves reclaimers, have moved into abandoned homes throughout the city to keep themselves safe from the virus while contributing to public health effort of social distancing and staying healthy, which would be far more difficult for them to accomplish on the streets. It is not clear how many reclaimers there are or how many houses they currently occupy, but the numbers are continuing to increase as the conditions become more serious in the region and as media reports about the group and their efforts spread. So, more like squatters, but you know what? So those areas, I've seen video footage. I know people who've been in those areas, and this areas in LA is like Skid Row. So I cannot really condemn these homeless mothers for occupying these abandoned homes. And for Mario Solano, kudos to you, man. I give you homage, brother. Good thing about it, my friends, which that's why it was voluntary, not obligatory. Sometimes so many people try to go for government, but what Mr. Leno did, he did it from his own heart. Because yeah, he's going to hit him, but he knows he don't want to see people on the streets either. So that's very cool, very thoughtful, and hopefully more people can do that. Get some compassion for once, because right now we all need to stick together, regardless of your differences. And hey, I like what he did. So if you see him, give him some love. All right. Okay, well that is it. Let me make this one a little bit short and sweet today. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you send something that's interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. Furthermore, I shall leave all these footnotes on my speaker page. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.